Welcome back to another Premier League predictions video. This is for week 9 of the Premier League and we're well into the new season. At this point, there are no more excuses. First game up is Arsenal and Aston Villa. This is a massive game for both sides. Both sides have to win this game. For Arsenal, they drew 2-2 in the last game against Crystal Palace at home. A game they probably should have won, but they didn't deserve to because Crystal Palace were by far the better side. Although defensively, Palace were suspect at the back, so they probably didn't deserve all 3 points. And for Aston Villa, they managed to lose at home to Wolves, which isn't the worst result in the world, but it is pretty shocking when you take into account that Aston Villa were leading 2-0 with 20 minutes to go. Shocking stuff. It's unacceptable to be leading a game 2-0 with that much time to go and lose it. Madness. Going to this game, I think Aston Villa have been a lot more impressive than Arsenal this season, so I think they win this one 3-1. Next game up is Chelsea and Norwich. This will be a 2-0 win to Chelsea. Next game up is Crystal Palace and Newcastle. This is a tough game to call. Normally I would say that since Crystal Palace have been so impressive this season, they should win this game, but defensively, as we saw in their last game, they are suspect. And for Newcastle, they're in huge trouble this season. They now have new owners, so the future is looking bright, but right now, they're in a relegation battle, and they are struggling. However, going to this game, I think it'll be a 2-2 draw. Next game up is Everton and Watford. This will be a 2-0 win to Everton. Next game up is Leeds and Wolves. This will be a tough game for both sides. For Leeds United, I wasn't too concerned about them at the start of the season. I thought, kind of similar to last season, that they'll take a bit of time to get going. But right now, it's massively concerning. Last season, they were able to score goals, and they were poor defensively. But since they were able to create chances and score goals, that kind of saved them from their defensive mistakes. But right now, they're not scoring goals, which is a huge concern because you're not really sure how they're going to win games and get points. For some reason, a lot of their players are out of form. Patrick Bamford is nowhere to be seen. Even in midfield, Stuart Dallas, where was he? Last season, he was one of the best players, at right back or right wing back. Now, I haven't even heard of him this season. There's so many issues in this squad they need fixing, both defensively and offensively, that they are really struggling, and it's going to be a massive turnaround for them to be able to get out of this. And for Wolves, they were actually in a similar situation to Leeds early on in the season, but it looks like they've actually rectified a lot of their issues. I think one of the reasons why Wolves had a bad start to the season was because they had a tough run of fixtures. Now that tough run is over, they've actually gotten more kind of fixtures, and now you're able to see what Wolves can really do. And I think they win this one as well. This will be a 2-1 win to Wolves. Next game up is Southampton and Burnley. This will be a tough game for both sides. Although, going to this one, Burnley are another team that are struggling massively. You sort of expect them to turn their form around at some point, but I don't think it's guaranteed. And for Southampton, they're an interesting team because they didn't necessarily excuse me. They didn't necessarily have a bad start to the season, but they weren't winning games. They were drawing a lot of games and I guess not picking up a lot of points. But they were kind of playing well, just not scoring goals. And defensively, they were very good. So it's kind of a weird one. I'm not really too sure where Southampton are at right now, but I guess we'll see in a couple of months. This will be a excuse me, oh my god. Must be getting sick or something. This will be a 2-0 win to Southampton. Next game up is Brighton and Man City. This will be a tough game for both sides. I do expect Brighton to play well in this game, but recently the goals are dried up. I'm not quite sure what's happened. I know Brighton have been very good defensively the last couple of seasons, but it seems like they're really struggling to score goals and create chances. And for Man City, it looks like, they're back in form. Excuse me. That game against Liverpool really showed, they're in top form and that, they're playing well right now. And this will be a 2-0 win to Man City. Next game up is Brentford and Leicester. This could be one of the games of the weekend. Brentford were probably unlucky to lose to Chelsea last week. They did play well, but it doesn't matter how well you play. You've got to put the ball in the back of the net, and that's what you have to do. And for Leicester, their game against Man United last week was very impressive. This is a result that came out of nowhere because Leicester had a very poor start to the season and they were struggling. But all of a sudden, they put in that kind of performance and showed what they can do. I'm not sure where that performance came from, but it's come at a good time. And I think this will be a 2-1 win to Leicester. Next game up is West Ham and Tottenham. This will be another tough game for both sides. Either side could win it. West Ham managed to beat Everton 1-0 away from home. A very, very good result. And for Tottenham, they managed to win 3-1 away at Newcastle, which was another good result. It looks like their attack is really clicking and their forwards are scoring goals. Once again, this will be a tough game. Either side could win it. It's a London derby. This will be a 2-1 win to Tottenham. And the last game for the week is Man United and Liverpool. This should be the game of the weekend, but it won't be because right now, Manchester United are a shambles. I'm not really sure what's going on at the club right now. A lot of the issues don't really make any sense because the club, the team, has very good players. A lot of the players would make it into any side in the Premier League, but it's not about how good the players are. That's not enough. It's about being able to play players in a system and them being able to play their roles in that system because this is a team game and everybody needs to play their part. Excuse me. And for Liverpool, they're in good form right now. They're scoring goals. They kept a clean sheet in the last game against Watford, which maybe doesn't count for much. But going to this one, I think this will be a 3-1 win to Liverpool. And that's about it.